I'm going to tell you a story not a lot of people know. Seven years ago, I got up and it was just a normal Monday. I put my clothes on. I just come from doing a road trip for work. So I had all of my work things in the car still. I used to set up displays for outreach programming and whatnot, and had a really great time of it. And I was very tired, but it was Monday and I needed to get to work. I needed to drop things back off, and needed to go ahead and get my reporting done, get my expense report turned in, all that stuff. And as was my habit then, I am very intentional about which ways I drive at certain times of the day. And so I decided to come down Cantrell, which is a very windy road in Little Rock that kind of hugs along, not right on it, but not far from the river. And as I was coming up, there are two ways that you can immediately turn from Cantrell to where I used to work. And usually I would turn at Chester, but this time I turned the turn before Chester because sometimes I just liked being able to go through that particular route because it's near the Salvation Army. And oftentimes people kind of turn a blind eye to folks who are in need. And it was important to me, and it's still important to me, to make sure that when I'm not in a rush, when I'm not super hurried, when I can do so in a good way, in a thoughtful way, I try to show that kindness. So sometimes I would take a route where I could, nod, I could speak, I could wave to folks who were waiting for the Salvation Army to open up. See, one of the things you'll learn about me is that I'm a very practical person. But every once in a while, I'll treat myself to something. And in this case, I was doing pretty well in my new job. I'd gotten a really good situation, and I decided I was going to get the car that I wanted. So I got a 2012 Hyundai Sonata, and she was sleek and beautiful. And I get in the car, and it's just like zoom. And it was glorious for about 2 years. I named her Bobby Roy. And so Bobby Roy and I were driving to work, and we went by the Salvation Army. And just at the four-way stop, I came to a complete stop. There was no one else in the intersection. And I noticed no one was standing outside of the Salvation Army, which I thought was very strange for that morning. So I came to a complete stop, and then I slowly entered into the intersection. And I felt the hairs on the back of my neck just jump up. And I didn't know why, but I looked to my right, and out of nowhere came this Ford F-250. And I thought two things. This truck is about to hit me, and take your foot off of the accelerator. And I experienced something that I thought I would only ever see in a movie. It was like that Dolby sound when you like boom, kind of thing. The truck hit me going about 45 miles per hour, and I had just started rolling through the intersection from a complete stop. And the truck hit me so hard that my car spun several times, tilted up, and almost flipped. And this was from a witness testimony, because all I was doing was trying to make sure that I did not leave my foot on that accelerator. And I was fully buckled in and everything like that. But I remember when it hit also, I heard this pop. It was a really loud and unnatural pop. And I don't know if that was the airbags deploying or what. But I remember feeling a jerking pain. The spinning happened very fast. And then I remember thinking, I don't know where the truck is. When I came to a stop, I came to a very controlled stop in a holly bush. And I just sat there for a moment and realized what had happened. And I went into damage control mode. I was like, okay, I got to figure out this business. I can't freak out. This just happened. I'm still breathing. "Are you hurt?" And I felt stiff, but I hadn't hit my head or anything. I felt some tightness in my chest, and I came to realize that was where the seatbelt had caught me. And I had a little, later I saw I had a little bruising across where the seatbelt had caught me. Um, my knee was hurting, and I couldn't figure out why that was. Later I found out it's because I jammed it against the steering column when I was kind of stepping back through it. But then I got out of, I opened the door. It hit on my passenger side. I gotten T-boned from the passenger side. And I remember getting out of the car, and I was trying to figure out where was the truck. And the truck was like way down the street, and they'd come to a stop, but the force that they'd hit me was so hard that they spun me out of the way, and it took him like 2 blocks to actually come to a stop. And thankfully he didn't pull off. It was a work truck. It was a Ford F-250 work truck. It was white. And I think he was a little scared to come back and check on me, but eventually he did. There were 2 guys who were in the truck. And all I really remember other than that is that the insurance that they had was Farmers. That's all I remember. I don't really remember their faces or anything like that. And it's been 7 years since it happened. But it was just one of those moments. And I remember I felt like I just shut all of my feelings off and was just trying to deal with the situation. I was like, I need to get this insurance information. I need to call my insurance agent. I need to do all these things. And so I did all these things. And then I looked at the scene, and I saw that there was like a down stop sign. And I think it was down. Yeah, it was down before. But I remember the strangest thing happened. While I'm sitting there waiting, because I had to call the cops. While I'm sitting there waiting, a city truck shows up. And all they do is go ahead and put the stop sign back up. And then they take off. They don't come and check on me. They don't say anything. And I was like, did someone call and tell them there was a down stop sign? And then they come and they fix it because they realize there's an accident over here and they're worried about liability. And this is previous administration, so this is not my current mayor. And so I was kind of like, that's kind of messed up. But I said, you know what? Stay focused. Do what you got to do. You got insurance. You're going to be fine. You're still here. You know, you could be dead. It's fine. So emotions are completely shut off. So I did all that stuff, and I remember when the cops got there, they were like, do you want us to call an ambulance? And I kept thinking, no, I don't need an ambulance. I'm not bleeding. I've got a little pain, but I can see this is where the strap caught me. My knee hurts a little bit. I was like, but I don't think I can go to work. I was like, I got to tell the folks at work this happened. So I'm doing all this damage control, and I'm not tuned into the reality of my feelings about what just happened. I've just been in my first ever and only accident. And I remember when the cops asked me several times, they were like, are you sure? Okay, let's go ahead and get this incident report set up. And they were very kind. I was like, I've never been through this before. They were like, you're going to need this for your insurance people. Have you got them on the line? I was like, yeah, I'm back on the line with them. So they gave me everything I needed to have. And they were like, do we need to call someone? I was like, I need to call my husband. So I called my husband, and the whole time I was thinking, I've got to be calm, because I knew he was at home still. I was like, I gotta be calm. I don't want him to panic. I need to tell him these things. And as soon as I got on the phone, that's when the emotions caught up with me, and I was like, oh crap. And I was like, honey, I need you to get here. This is where I am. I'm okay, but I'm not gonna be okay in about 15 minutes. And I could feel it. Like I could feel the emotions, the raw emotions back on me right now. But to his credit, he got there in the other car. He got me in that car and he took me home, and they told him, you know, make sure she stays still, check her, make sure she keeps her leg elevated, to keep the swelling down, all that stuff. She's going to feel like crap tomorrow, even if she feels okay today. And that was 7 years ago, y'all. At some point while I was on the scene before he got there, I did get up because I was like, I got to take pictures. I got to make sure I have all the pictures for again, it's probably not the healthiest thing, but I tend to do that. I tend to turn the emotions off and I just handle the situation. But I went around and I saw the passenger side, and I'm glad I had my emotions turned off, because later when I was still and I was thinking about it and I was looking back over these pictures, I realized if he had been in the car with me, he would not be here with me. If anyone had been in the car with me, because I mean, the right side of my car was decimated. It's just, I don't know why it is that it takes sometimes those kinds of moments to make you pause and reevaluate what's going on in your life, and to try to make sure that you're not letting life run all over you, and that you are in fact being very intentional about where you're putting your time and your energy and whatnot. And here I am 7 years later, much happier than I was before all of that happened. And I miss that car sometimes. I really do, because I was like, at one point I was kind of just asking ridiculous questions, like, does that mean I shouldn't go and get the things that I want to get? Because I got, the one time I afforded myself something that was a little outside of what I needed, a little bit more of what I wanted, then that happens. The car is taken from me. 2 years, it wasn't even 2 years. It was barely a year of having the car. Is that right? No. It was a couple of years. It was a couple of years that I had to enjoy it. But no car is worth my life. No car is worth my life. But I was just thinking about that today, and I had to sit in that appreciation, because this is probably the first time in 7 years that I've actually sat still and given myself a moment to reflect and pause on that very significant life event. And I'm just thankful I'm here. I'm really thankful that I'm here.